Today I'm going to show you how to install an over-the-range microwave. So we're going to be removing the range hood. Removing the old range hood, unplugging up top there, and we'll be passing the cord down through the hole there. Underneath here, what we've got is just 4 screws that hold it in. So I'm just going to zip these out. I've got my nice impact driver here, new tool. It's a really good one. Works really good, nice and light. A lithium-ion battery. Kind of nice impact drivers. A little bit different than a drill. It works really good. There's 2 screws on that side, and we got 2 screws on this side. And there we go. Range hood. Pop our cord out and we're ready for the microwave. Okay, so got the giant microwave here. Gonna go in right over here over the range. We got the old range hood out, and so now we're gonna get set up here. Go ahead and open this box up and show you what we got here. Put a little light on the subject here. Okay. Glass for our tray. Here's all our screws. There's a couple different ways of hooking these up. You can hook these up for a ventless system, which is what I have. And you want to use a carbon filter when you hook it up for a ventless. If it's just venting right into the kitchen area, the carbon filters out the impurities in the air. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. In fact, most kitchens nowadays, that's how they're set up. It is a little bit nicer if you have it vented to go to the outside, but not everyone has that set up, and it's a little more expensive to set it up that way. This one's actually already, the way it comes pre-set up for a ventless system that's vented into the kitchen, which is what I happen to have. And to make this a little safer, it's a good idea to go ahead and turn the breaker off for the range. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you over here and I'm going to go ahead and turn the breaker off for the range. Now, turn off the range and then we'll go and prove that the power is off on the range. So come back over here and just make sure everything's off. Yep, we're good here. Okay, so this will just make it a little safer. And I'm going to pull my microwave out here. Get this thing on. Now to make cleanup a little bit easier, the microwave came in this big old bag. And what I like to do is just reuse the bag over the stove. This is a pretty messy job. It's going to be a lot of sawdust, and so I just use the bag, and that's why we turn out the power to the stove. Now we don't wind up turning it on by accident. Have a mess on our hands. Okay, on the new microwave, there's 2 screws here, right here and here, that hold the back trim on. So we're going to go ahead and remove those, and this holds the mounting bracket on. Easy enough. Okay, and then now we can remove the mounting bracket. Okay, and this is going to go up back where the stove is here. So inside the directions, it comes with a template, and let me show you how to prep this template. Okay. Here's the template, and what you want to do is match this up to your microwave, which is going to be this way. Okay? 2 holes on the right and 1 hole on the left up top. So what you want to do is take your template and pre-poke out these holes here, and then just use a pen, make it good and big there, each spot here. And same this one. And then also where the cord is going to go. Big old giant hole here. We can just kind of fold this and tear this out. Okay. Now the easy way to do this is to take a Sharpie. Got my Sharpie here. And we go up underneath here. And use the template to mark where our holes are going to go. Okay. So take this and put it up against the edge. Okay. And up against the back. And then you're going to mark your holes here. There's one. There's two. There's our cord. And then on the far side, there's our final hole there. Okay. So now we got those all Sharpied. And I don't know if you've seen these RotoZip tools, but this is where, this is the job where the RotoZip shows its quality. Now it's a pretty messy job, and make sure you wear safety glasses when you're using this tool. But you can see the cutter here. It allows you to drill a spot and then rotate it counterclockwise to cut your hole. Now it's going to be noisy, so prepare your ears here. You might want to wear ear protection also because this is pretty loud. Anyway, here goes. I can lower it down on the video for you guys though, so it just doesn't punish your eardrums. You kind of want to hold this in the strap here with your hand. Make sure you got a good grip on this sucker. And here it goes. Noise. Oh, no noise. We got a trip GFI here. Let me reset that. There we go. Okay, so our GFI is reset. With this tool, what you want to do is cut counterclockwise. You insert it and then cut your hole counterclockwise. So here goes. Cover your ears. It's marked here on the holes and where they should go. And there's a couple things you should know here. Okay, I'm going to mark the hole there. You can use a Sharpie or a pen. Okay, and then we want a third hole, you know, a third or even a fourth hole. It's fine. Okay, and usually either one of these two, it's already pre-marked, is got a is on a stud. So we don't want these other holes on a stud, and we don't want anything behind there. And you have to be careful here because this particular wall borders up against the toilet stack, the drain for the toilet. You definitely don't want to drill through that. You know, if you drill through there every time you make your coffee, you're going to get an awful smell coming from the microwave. The way to drill through the drywall a little bit safer is just take a screwdriver and poke it through. And this way, if there's anything behind there, there we go. So there's nothing back there. And this uses these butterflies, so I'm going to widen the hole wide enough to get the butterfly through. Okay, and the same with this one. Okay, poke it all the way through. See, I can actually feel some plumbing on the side right here. And so I've got just enough room that I'll be able to slip the butterfly in there. So I'm going to widen the hole a little bit there. Make getting the butterfly in there easier. Okay. And then the same thing on these last two holes. And this one's on the stud. You can hear the sound difference. Hear how it sounds hollow. And then it sounds solid. That's my stud finder. That one's free. Okay, so I'm going to poke through again here. Alright. In this one we're going to need a drill, so I'm going to go ahead and get my drill set up here. And it's a pretty big bolt that winds up going into the stud there. Try to show you. Let's see. That's this big bolt here. So I'm going to use about the biggest drill bit I have here. Pre-drill that. My drill is about to die. So I'm going to pre-drill this with the Roto-Zip instead. And then I think I'll try to use the drill. Been through a lot, so pretty much on its last leg here. Wow. There we go. So now we are ready to install our mounting bracket. We've got 3 bolts that are going to be on butterflies. What you have to do with the butterflies is you have to pass them through the holes first and then put the butterfly on the end. So kind of mark which of these holes are going to have butterflies. There we go. And then of course the other 2 already have the arrows on them, so that'll make that easy. What you do with these is pre-start the butterfly, and it has to be this way so that it'll open up once it's inside the hole, and then it'll grab behind there and tighten the screw up against the drywall. The butterfly is going to grab the back of the drywall. And then this far hole is going to get the screw going straight through it instead. Here it goes. Hopefully you can see this good. Let's see. I'll start with this side so you can see it a little bit better. What you're going to do is push your toggle bolt in the hole, the butterfly. It's going to fold into each hole and get all of them in there before you move on, because you'll reach a kind of a point of no return. Like on this other side, I got to make the hole a little bit bigger. That's why we didn't want to tighten down the other parts yet, because once you put it in there, you won't be able to get it out unless you take the butterfly off, and then it's going to fall into in between the wall. I want that. Like that. So now we can position this up here. And sometimes you have to kind of pull to get some back pressure on these butterflies to get them to tighten up. Otherwise, they might get in the hole. Okay. Then, once you get it going a little bit, go ahead and position your trim where you want it. For me, it's going to be right here. There we go. Okay. And the third one. And that one's not really tightening up, so what we got to do is I can take my knife and kind of wedge it underneath it, pull it a little bit, that way it's got a little back pressure on the butterfly, and once it reaches a certain point it'll tighten up. Okay. And now on the final hole we have to set the screw in here. This is our bolt. You can see how big this is. That's why we drilled it. So now we're ready to install. Next, we're going to go ahead and put our microwave up. Now, if you were hooking up a vented system, what you would have to do is pull these screws out up top here. See, 1, 2, and 3 right here. And then you can take the motor apart, and there's 3 screws that hold the motor to the directional shaft, and you're going to turn that shaft according to how you're venting it, whether you're venting it to the outside or to the back, you know, or for ours is ventless. And like I said, this particular microwave brand comes pre-set up for a ventless system, so that's what I'm doing here. Okay, now what we're going to do is lift our microwave up. I'm going to get my top screws ready here, and also I'm going to kind of use the directions here to clean this out a little bit, drop all this stuff onto the plastic that we got down there. So now what we're going to do is lift our microwave up and set the back on these ridges here, and that'll link it into place, and then fold it up, and then we're going to pass our screws through the top piece to anchor it. Also, we need to insert the cord. Don't forget to insert the cord, or you're going to have to start all over. It won't be much fun. Okay, so I'm going to start off by inserting the cord here. Doesn't fall down. Get our bolts up top ready to go, just by setting them up top. And it's a little bit better if you have 2 people to do this, so you can have some help and put it up there. But anyway, I'm doing so today. Get it into the back feet. Rotate it up into place. Pass screws on through. And it's going to do the finger start with the screws. Then go ahead and, once you're ready, you don't want to tighten them too tight. Just snug is good, because you don't want the inner portion where the screw goes in to break off. So just getting them nice and snug is good. Okay. Now we'll test the operation of our cabinet doors. Those are good. And there's one nice new microwave. Go ahead and set the time for it. Clock. There we go. One nice new microwave. Put in our rotating plate and our glass plate. Now underneath here, what we need to do is install the filters. And really what you want to do is get some carbon filters if your system is a ventless system. Mine is a ventless system. For temporary, I'm just going to be putting the regular filters in just to show you how these slide in. But if you are just venting to the kitchen through the microwave, then you want to use a carbon filter, and that'll filter out the impurities. Otherwise it's just going to be pretty much blowing the smoke around, not really filtering anything out. Anyway, one over the range microwave, good to go.